we tell the beginning, say it with me, beginning, the middle, and the end. Let's say it again. The beginning, the middle, and the end. The way we do that is by thinking about our main characters. We think about how they change. We think about who the main characters are, what they learned, what they're gonna learn, what happened to them. We think about the problem in the story, and we think about how the problem was solved, Austin. So, we're going to read a new story today, and it is called Mike Mulligan and His Steam Shovel. We are going to read it, and then we're going to discuss who the main characters are. How do we know that someone is a main character? Nyla. Their name might be in the title. How else do we know that a character is a main character? Phoenix.
Because we know we will see them every page.
We'll see them on most pages, right? So how do we know someone isn't a main character? Alasia.
If we see them in the story.
Yeah. Exactly. Boys and girls, if it is a character who we don't see very often in the book, it says their name maybe 1 or 2 times. Are they a main character?
No.
No, because the story is not mostly about them. So we're going to read this story today, Mason, and we are going to figure out who this story is mostly about. All right, I want you to show me your listening ears. Go ahead and show me your listening ears. Show me your ear. Let me see it. I want to see everyone's big listening ear. Show me your listening ears so that I know that you're ready to learn, Ezra. Show me your listening ear. All right, Mike Mulligan and His Steam Shovel, story and pictures by Virginia Lee Burton. Here's a picture of a coal bunker. It has a cab and a smokestacker. This is a type of. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who cut through the high mountains so that trains could go through. India. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who lowered the hills and straightened the curves. To make the long highways for the automobiles. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who smoothed out the ground and filled in the holes. To make the landing fields for the airplanes. What have we learned so far in this story? What's happening? Leia, what's happening?
What's happening is he's like making the world like better, like digging and like helping the world to like do something.
Right. Mary Ann and Mike Mulligan have worked together so hard to help make the roads, to make pathways, to make the landing strip for the airplanes. They've worked together to dig up all of these areas and make it smooth and flat for the automobiles or the airplanes, Cole, or the trains to move through the mountains. Could we say that Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann are helpful?
Yes.
Yes, because they're helping everyday people by making things easier for them to do, like landing an airplane. If the land isn't flat, is it easy to land an airplane?
No.
No. But because they made it flat and smooth for the airplanes, that made their life easier. So they helped the pilots. Let's keep reading. And it was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who dug the deep holes for the cellars of the tall skyscrapers in the big cities. When people used to stop and watch them, Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann used to dig a little faster and a little better. The more people stopped, the faster and better they dug. Some days they would keep as many as 37 trucks busy, taking away the dirt they had dug. Eliana, sit down. Then along came the new gasoline shovels, and the new electric shovels, and the new diesel motor shovels, and took all the jobs away from the steam shovels. How do you think Mary Ann, if Mary Ann had feelings, how do you think Mary Ann feels right now? Now that there's all of these other types of shovels that are more efficient, it's easier to use. Lasia.
Happy.
Do you think Mary Ann is happy, or do you think Mary Ann's sad?
I get sad.
Let me read it again. Then along came the new gasoline shovels and the new electric shovels and the new diesel motor shovels and took all the jobs away from the steam shovels. Sad, right? Because Mary Ann is a steam shovel, and in come all of these new shovels that are quicker and they run on gas, and they took all of Mary Ann's jobs away. Would that make you sad if you really love doing something and then someone took it all away from you? Yeah, that would make me really sad too.
I don't feel bad.
Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann were very sad. All the other steam shovels were being sold for junk or left out in old gravel pits to rust and fall apart. Mike loved Mary Ann. He couldn't do that to her. He had taken such good care of her that she could still dig as much in a day as 100 men could dig in a week. At least he thought she could, but he wasn't quite sure. Everywhere they went, the new gas shovels and the new electric shovels and the new diesel motor shovels had all the jobs. No one wanted Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann anymore. Then one day Mike read in a newspaper that the town of Popperville was going to build a new town hall. "We are going to dig the cellar of that town," said Mike to Mary Ann, and off they started. They left the canals and the railroads and the highways and the airports and the big cities where no one wanted them anymore and went out in the country. They crawled along slowly up the hills and down the hills till they came to the little town of Popperville. What town are they going to? Popperville. When they got there, they found that the selectmen were just deciding who should dig the cellar for the new town hall. Mike Mulligan spoke to Henry B. Put your finger on your nose if you just heard a new character's name. Who can raise their hand and tell me who the new character is? Kalani. Who's the new character? Henry B. Swap one of the selectmen. I heard he said that you are going to build a new town hall. Mary Ann and I will dig the cellar for you in just 1 day. How many days? One day. What? Said Henry B. Swap. Dig a cellar in a day? It would take 100
to give them the job because they need much more help.
Not quite. Why did they give him the job, Kino?
Because he said that he can dig for at least 1 day.
He can do it for 1 day, but did Henry B. Swap believe him? No. Henry B. Swap said it would take 100 men, Ezra, to dig for the new town hall. And then Mike Mulligan said, if we can't do it in a day, you don't have to pay anything. So did Henry B. Swap think that he was getting the hole dug for free?
No.
Yes, because he didn't believe that they could do it in a day, right? And Mike Mulligan said, if we can't do it in a day, you don't have to pay anything. We'll do it for free if we can't do it in a day. Do we think that Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann are going to be able to do it in a day? What do you think? Give me a thumbs up for yes, thumbs down for no. All right, let's keep reading. They started in early the next morning, just as the sun was coming up. Soon a little boy came along. Do you think you will finish by sundown? He said to Mike Mulligan. Sure, said Mike, if you stay and watch us. We always work faster and better when someone is watching us. So the little boy stayed to watch. I want you to touch your head if we just learned about a new character.
The little boy.
Oh, Cole, who did we learn about?
The little boy.
The little boy. Good job.
Hi.
All right, this is the little town they're working in. And then there's the steam shovel, Mary Ann, about to start digging. Kino. Then Mrs. McGillicuddy, Henry B. Swap, and the town constable came over to see what was happening. And they stayed to watch. Anytime you hear of a new character, I want you to stick your tongue out, okay? Anytime you hear of a new character.
We already hit it here.
Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dug a little faster and a little better. Why did they dig faster and better? Why? Nyla. Because people were watching. Mike Mulligan said, me and Mary Ann, we dig really fast if people are watching us. And who was watching them? Henry B. Swap,
The little boy.
Miss McGillicuddy, and the town constable, and the little boy. So they dug really, really fast. This gave the little boy a good idea. He ran off and told the postman with the morning mail, the telegraph boy on his bicycle, the milkman with his cart and horse, the doctor on his way home, and the farmer and his family coming into town for the day, and they all stopped and stayed to watch. That made Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dig a little faster and a little better. They finished the first corner neat and square, but the sun was getting higher. Clang, 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 the fire department arrived. They had seen the smoke and thought there was a fire. Then the little boy said, why don't you stay and watch? So the fire department of Popperville stayed to watch Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. When they heard the fire engine, the children in the school across the street couldn't keep their eyes on their lessons. The teacher called a long recess and the whole school came out to watch. That made Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dig faster and still better. They finished the second corner neat and square, but the sun was right up in top of the sky. Thumbs up or thumbs down if you think they're going to finish. Thumbs up if you think they're going to finish. Thumbs down if you don't think they're going to finish. All right, let's see. Now the girl who answers the telephone called up the next towns of Bangerville and Bopperville and Kipperville and Copperville and told them what was happening in Popperville. All the people came over to see if Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel could dig the cellar in just one day. The more people came, the faster Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dug, but they would have to hurry. They were only halfway through and the sun was beginning to go down. They finished the third corner, neat and square. Never had Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann had so many people to watch them. Never had they dug so fast and so well, and never had the sun seemed to go down so fast, Keno. Hurry, Mike Mulligan! Hurry, hurry, shouted the little boy. There's not much more time. Dirt was flying everywhere, and the smoke and steam were so thick that the people could hardly see anything. But listen! Bing, bang, crash, slam! Louder and louder, faster and faster. Then suddenly it was quiet. Slowly the dirt settled down, Austin. The smoke and steam cleared away, and there was the cellar, all finished. 4 corners neat and square, 4 walls straight down, and Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann at the bottom, and the sun was just going down behind the hill. Hooray! Shouted the people. Hooray for Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel. They have dug the cellar in just one day. Boys and girls, I have a question for you. Do you think Henry B. Swap is happy or sad right now?
Happy. Sad.
Why do you think he's sad, Mason?
Because he thought he couldn't do it in one day, but he did.
So what's going to happen since they did it in a day, Elijah?
He's going to give him money.
They have to pay. So it's really great that they dug it in a day, but Henry B. Swap is like, huh, I didn't want to have to pay, and now I have to pay because he did it in a day. That's what I think is happening right now.
I like that.
Suddenly the little boy said, how are they going to get out? That's right, said Mrs. McGillicuddy to Henry B. Swap. How is he going to get his steam shovel out? Henry B. Swap didn't answer, but he smiled in rather a mean way. Then everybody said, how are they going to get out? Hi, Mike Mulligan. How are you going to get your steam shovel out? Mike Mulligan looked around at the 4 square walls and 4 square corners, and he said, we've dug so fast and we've dug so well, stand right here, that we've quite forgotten to leave a way out. Nothing like this had ever happened to Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann before, and they didn't know what to do. Nothing like this had ever happened before in Popperville. Everybody started talking at once, and everybody had a different idea, and everybody thought that his idea was the best. They talked, and they talked, and they argued, and they fought till they were worn out. And still no one knew how to get Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann out of the cellar they had dug. Then Henry B. Swap said, "The job isn't finished because Mary Ann isn't out of the cellar. So Mike Mulligan won't get paid." And he smiled again in a rather mean way. Now the little boy, who had been keeping very quiet, had another good idea. He said, "Why couldn't we leave Mary Ann in the cellar and build a new town hall above her? Let her be the furnace for the new town hall, and let Mike Mulligan be the janitor. Then you wouldn't have to buy a new furnace, and we could pay Mike Mulligan for digging the cellar in just one day." "Why not?" said Henry B. Swap, and smiled in a way that was not quite so mean. "Why not?" said Mrs. McGillicuddy. "Why not?" said the town constable. "Why not?" said all the people. So they found a ladder and climbed down into the cellar to ask Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. Do you think they're going to agree with that? If you think they're going to agree, give me a thumbs up. If you think they're going to disagree or not say yes, thumbs down.
How is his truck going to get up there?
"Why not?" said Mike Mulligan. So it was decided, and everybody was happy. I'm sorry. They built a new town hall right over Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. It was finished before winter, Elijah. Every day, the little boy goes over to see Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann, and Mrs. McGillicuddy takes him nice, hot apple pies. As for Henry B. Swap, he spends most of his time in the cellar of the new town hall listening to the stories that Mike Mulligan has to tell and smiling in a way that isn't mean at all. Now, when you go to Popperville, be sure to go down in the cellar of the new town hall. There they'll be, Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann, Mike in his rocking chair and smoking his pipe, and Mary Ann beside him warming up the meetings in the new town hall. Boys and girls, I want to ask you a question. There were a lot of characters, Mason, in that book, Ezra. A lot of characters in that book. We learned about Henry B. Swaps. We learned about Mary Ann. We learned about Mike Mulligan. We learned about the town constable, the little boy, the teacher, the students. We learned about a lot of different people. But I want you to quietly whisper, if you had to give two main characters, only two main characters, who would it be? Turn and whisper. Turn and whisper. Turn and whisper. Come on, stand up. I need you to pass something out. Turn and whisper. Who would it be? The two main characters. Hold on just a second. The two main characters, who would they be? Who would the two main characters be? All right, and 3,